What's it called? Almost spontaneous.
Okay, you ready? You probably all know this already. In a landmark decision on Tuesday, a 3-judge panel for the Ohio 10th District Court of Appeals struck down the state's ban on gender-affirming care for transgender youth.
Are we allowed to make noises?
Are you allowed?
I don't want to overwhelm anyone here.
You can make happy noises.
Yes.
Woo!
That was so kind.
I saw this last night. I was going to make
I'm feeling queer today.
Welcome back to I'm Feeling Queer Today, a podcast that amplifies the voices of LGBTQ plus young people like me, for listeners like you, whoever you are. Brought to you by the Future Perfect Project. I'm Leah Lubinsky, and I use they, them pronouns.
I'm Kaden Corrigan, and I use he, him pronouns.
And I'm Oliver Leger, and I use he, him pronouns. You are listening to a special bonus episode of I'm Feeling Queer Today.
This past season, we took a queer road trip all around the country to answer a big question. What is it like to be an LGBTQ plus person where you live?
The next 2 bonus episodes take place at Albert Einstein Academy, Northeast Ohio's first LGBTQ plus affirming school, the place where we all met.
In this episode, you'll get to meet Kristen Thomas, our superintendent and the co-founder of Albert Einstein Academy, who shares what it was like to create a queer-affirming school from the ground up.
Plus, original poetry, roundtable conversations on trans issues, and some advice to queer youth everywhere.
At the top of the episode, you heard our reactions to the partial blocking of Ohio House Bill 68, a bill that banned gender-affirming medical care for trans youth and prohibited trans women and girls from participating in sports.
Since we recorded this episode in March 2025, the Ohio Supreme Court voted to reverse the partial block, meaning the ban on gender-affirming care for minors in Ohio is still in effect. Most recently, the Ohio House of Representatives passed the bill 64-28. Now it moves on to the Ohio Senate.
Here are some more of our reactions from back in March when we heard that the bill had been partially blocked.
So, anybody have any thoughts, feelings, ideas?
Like, it's completely overturned, or is it, like, blocked again?
Blocked.
It's blocked. Because when it's blocked, that means it can, like, go
They can
back.
take it to a higher court.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened last time, right? I think they blocked it and then...
This was from an appeals court, so they could take it to the Supreme Court, the Ohio Supreme Court. I get my prescription from Pittsburgh, and I'm going back to Pittsburgh on this Friday, so I hope it's my last appointment.
Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh.
Which means that you would be able to get the prescription filled in this state. Yes. And they would take care of that.
It'd be huge.
The only reason I couldn't get it is because I couldn't go to Pittsburgh or anywhere else out of Ohio. So my turn next. Lying enough with the story. It's nice to know there's people fighting for us that have more control.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm Trudy. I go by they, them pronouns. And would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure, I'm Kristen Thomas. I go by she, her pronouns.
I'm so excited to get to chat with you today about
you.
Albert Einstein Academy. It has been such a pleasure just from the outside coming into the school. I mean, it's such a unique place.
So in 2013, 2014, that school year, my late husband and I founded the school and started with 75 students in one campus with about 9 staff, including us. And within a couple years, we were up to 275 kids in a couple campuses. I think the thing that has kept us going is from the moment we opened the doors, we saw the need. We've drawn a really large population of LGBTQ plus youth just because they weren't finding safe spaces in other places, and so we've been able to provide that as well.
Yeah, one of the really distinct, amazing qualities about AEA is that you are an LGBTQ plus affirming school. What does that look like, and how did that really factor into your leadership of the school?
I was a teacher, but before I crossed over to the dark side and became an administrator, I was a school counselor, and I had worked with youth in traditional public schools my whole career, and unfortunately lost several to suicide. They just need safe adults, safe spaces, affirming, values. So because it was our school and we have a board of education that's very supportive, we were just able to decide students' identity is respected, names, pronouns, dress code is flexible. They can just be who they want to be.
For the kids you've seen coming in, what does this environment provide versus a more traditional public school?
Much more individualized, very community feeling, smaller class sizes, individual attention. We can really differentiate their educational needs.
I've noticed the smaller class sizes, it really seems like every student has a relationship with the staff here. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I would agree with you. In both campuses, the teachers know all the kids and the kids know all the teachers and administrators. I mean, we're all in the classrooms and the buildings all the time participating because we want to be around the kids and get to know them as well. Our other campus is a K-12 building, and the kindergarten teachers know the seniors and the high school teachers know the kindergartners, and teachers work together to service all the students, which I think is so extremely unique. I mean, a perfect example today was we're doing a activity in the school, one book, and the whole student body is reading a book, and it's a homeschool literacy connection. And some of the students may or may not have that support at home as far as the literacy component. So our art teacher here grabbed a group of kids today after lunch for their intervention block and just read to them and with them. And those, it was 5 or 6 kids that would not have maybe had an adult to do that with. When he teaches art, I've had staff that have physically taken a senior off campus to the Social Security office and teach them how to file for Social Security benefits because they didn't have an adult at home to help them do that. So we're able to do those things because we're so small and we do have that close-knit relationship. It's all hands on deck.
Are there struggles that you encounter with resources as a smaller school?
Resources are limited for charter schools. We don't get the same kind of funding as traditional publics do in Ohio. Sometimes we have to be creative with grants and funding and things like that. We didn't come equipped day one with a big science lab or physical education materials. We don't have a whole room to have an orchestra, those type of things. So that's challenging. But, we find ways, and we have a lot of really good relationships with community organizations and businesses that are very supportive, so that helps too.
What is it like being in collaboration with the community around you?
Oh, it's necessary. Some of the organizations, that we work with are just essential. I mean, Metro Health is one of the hospitals in the area. They have a whole gender-affirming department in the hospital, and they come into both schools 4 or 5 times a year and do lessons, and you name it, they talk about it. So we have a lot of those connections.
I'm really curious, being in Ohio, experiencing the current administration we have right now, and even before then, legislation that was coming through, how has that impacted your day-to-day operations at AEA?
Yeah, it's really challenging because some of the legislation in Ohio is the complete opposite of what we try to accomplish on a daily basis at our school. So the Senate Bill 104 was the first one. It just took effect February 24th, and that one's known as the bathroom bill. They passed a sweeping law across Ohio that everyone has to use the restroom of the gender in which they were born, sex assigned at birth. It can no longer be based on your own gender identity and how you choose to use the restroom. That impacts our school pretty significantly because we have a lot of students that identify as trans, non-binary, somewhere on the gender spectrum, and we've always had a pretty open restroom policy, so we've been navigating that. The House Bill 8 is much more significant, and that one doesn't go into effect for schools. We don't have to have the policies in place till July 1st, so it'll be a next year problem, but we've already started talking to the kids about it. That's the Parents' Bill of Rights, and it's really similar to Florida's Don't Say Gay, but it limits the type of education and inclusivity we can put in the curriculum as far as any kind of gender discussions or sexuality discussions in the classrooms. Parents have to be informed about every piece of it. The other stuff that's tough is if a student discloses their gender identity to a staff member, the staff member is legally required to call the parent and inform them. So basically we're being mandated to out kids who may or may not be ready to share that with their families. We're a public school, so we follow all the same rules under the Department of Education that we would in a traditional public, but what happens on the inside is very, very different. We've worked really closely with our Board of Education and our school attorneys. We will certainly follow the law as it is written, as we need to, because we get public funding. However, we're trying to do it in a way that's least harmful to our marginalized students as possible, and unfortunately right now that is specific to the LGBTQ plus kiddos. We've also had really open, honest conversations with the students about it. I know the principal here and the counselors and the teachers, they really sit down and get into the weeds of some of these bills, Senate Bill 104 and House Bill 8. And we really talk to the kids about this is what the law says and this is what this means. How can we support you in spite of this? We're trying to include them and treat them like the young adults that they are to help make decisions for their lives.
Then that one bill passed that said if you get it and you're a minor, then you're going to be put on registry. If that part's gone and I'm not on a list, then yay.
Put me on the list. Because it's a different House bill. So the court addressed House Bill 68, which was just a specific ban on the gender-affirming care. The one that you're talking about is 454. That's that SAVE Act. It's like save experimenting on kids, some nonsense. So they're different. So I don't think it addresses them.
I guess our hope is that they know we support them here. They know we don't agree with these things and that we have to follow the law. But, I've had conversations with a lot of them in the buildings. We have to stay open because you need to be here and you need this school. And if we don't follow the law, we'll get closed down because we won't have any funding. So we're going to do what we're required to do, and we're going to figure out, ways within the law to still support your needs as best we can. Some of them are under 18, they can't vote yet. They need to know they're heard, they need to have a voice, they need input.
Is there anything that you would want to say to trans youth who may be struggling right now, or really anyone who may be listening?
It's not everybody that's after you. It's not everybody that thinks you're other. There's a lot of adults that are angry. We're with you, we're for you, we support you. I hope they can all at least find one safe adult to be their person.
The Moth by Leo Lubinsky. As I emerged from my cocoon, I'm surrounded by beautiful butterflies. I would watch as people would chase after them, laughing and playing. But I did not have those long, thin antennas. I did not have that elegant body either. Nor did I have the vividly colored wings, the ones that everyone loves. But I tried my best to be a butterfly because everyone loves butterflies. Now to the Moth and Butterfly for an update.
Hello, it's Butterfly and Moth. Hello. So we wanted to give an update on the poem because a lot has changed. We are dating now, and I now go by both a butterfly and a moth.
Thank you, Moth and Butterfly, for your update.
Okay. What should we start with?
Should we start with introductions?
Oh, well, yeah, obviously. Start off by saying, your name and pronouns, obviously, but also what you have done or haven't. Okay, so I'll start to give an example. My name's Kaden, my pronouns are he, him, and I have not started any HRT and I have never been on puberty blockers before.
I'm Kai, I go by she, her. I'm on puberty blockers and HRT, hormone replacement therapy, or estrogen.
My name is Oliver, my pronouns are he, him, and I am on hormone replacement therapy. Never had puberty blockers.
I'll start with Kai. Before you started puberty blockers, was there people in your life that were against it that you think weren't educated, and what do you think they weren't educated about?
I think a lot of my family still doesn't really know. I mean, my dad doesn't really understand it. He also doesn't really support it, but he tolerates it, I would say.
When you were younger, going on puberty blockers, how did that help you?
It gave me time to think if I actually want to be viewed as more feminine or more societal standards of being a woman. But it took a while to fully figure out who I was. And I think puberty blockers really help develop my gender identity.
How do you think life would be different if you hadn't been given the access to puberty blockers?
I think, and this is gonna get dark really fast, but I think I would no longer be alive. Fully being honest, I think I would have been in a very dark place. I'd still have a lot of issues that I no longer have now that I didn't know the gender dysphoria was causing.
People don't understand that puberty blockers are completely reversible.
Oh, definitely.
They prevent puberty for the time being. They don't prevent puberty altogether. And I think they're helpful because why have your child go through 2 different puberties?
I mean, if I got off puberty blockers right now and estrogen, the testosterone would completely take over and it would reverse all the effects. So even now, even after like a couple months on HRT, it's still somewhat reversible. Like, I can stop at any point and it will just erase everything.
What about you, Oliver, with starting HRT and not having access to puberty blockers?
I actually didn't know puberty blockers were a thing until you mentioned them whenever we were starting this podcast. I think if I had been educated about it, my transition would have been a lot easier because there were so many things about myself that I thought were completely permanent, and there was nothing I could have done, but there was. And nobody ever told me about that.
Puberty blockers, first of all, they help with mental health, but also if I had started puberty blockers when I was younger, I wouldn't have to get top surgery because at a certain age I wouldn't have grown, and now I have to spend unnecessary money because the people in my life weren't educated enough about it and didn't think that it was a good idea because they swore it was irreversible, which is just not true, and I don't think enough people know that. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on? What about mental health?
I personally don't really like therapy because I think, and this is just me, I need time to work it out myself because I know what I can do to help myself. Doing therapy is fine and all. I just think you should be aware that it's not always going to help and it's not always going to alleviate stress immediately. It'll take time and a lot of work to get rid of that mental pain of the dysphoria that, physical and mental burdens are causing you.
I've had a lot of experience with therapy, and I used to hate it because my therapists, they acted like they knew exactly what was best for me. It felt like they were telling me what I should feel instead of asking me. Then I went to a group therapy, which really helped me accepting myself for who I am. I've had a lot of trouble with internalized transphobia, and I think being around other people who have been through similar things really changed my perspective. And now I have an individual therapist who's great.
So with that being said, how do you guys feel about there having to be a mental health assessment before you're allowed to even consider starting any type of HRT or anything of that sort?
Doing a mental assessment is good because it helps address side effects and other concerns you might have about starting a physical change. But I also think that taking too long on it buffers the time and the actual use and point of using HRT and get rid of that mental block you have in your head that, how you actually feel.
I think I can definitely see why it's necessary, but I also think it could definitely be a lot quicker than they make it. For me, it took 3 months.
Even though I haven't started anything yet,
I was in the process of being able to start it, and I was going to therapy and stuff, and they had to do all these assessments, and it took a couple months. And so the time when I was supposed to start, I had missed the appointment because I didn't have anybody to take me. And the next time I got the chance to go and actually get my shot, there were laws put in place where in Ohio we were not allowed to get it anymore. And just, I would already be on it if it hadn't taken so long. I was so close, and it really sucked. How do we feel about those laws that were put in place?
I mean, I understand the belief behind it, but when I had to get even an appointment to even see if I could be on it, I had to travel all the way to Pittsburgh, which is like a 2-hour drive, and I missed an entire school day. And even then, even after that, I couldn't start it immediately. They had to do the paperwork, which, is necessary for starting any new medication, especially gender-affirming care.
I had an appointment with a doctor here to get HRT in October last year, and as soon as I got there, she said that just a couple weeks ago, that law was passed, and if I had just gone a little bit earlier, then I would have had something. And then I had to go to Pittsburgh like 5 times before they actually gave me something. I felt so hopeless, like I was right there, but I still can't get it. My mom was stressed because she was missing some work because she had to drive me.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
and
I'm going back to Pittsburgh on Friday.
That's insane. My hospital in Pittsburgh that I went to, they transferred the medication over to a pharmacy near here so I can get it. But I don't know if you could do that.
Obviously, I can't help but feel jealous that obviously you guys get to start and everything, but I'm very happy for you guys because I know that if I've got to do that, I would be really happy. And I just think I got to just hold on to hope. And, I'm 3 years away from being 18, so if anything, it's 3 years. It's really a bummer. I just got to know that it's not all about the medical transition. It will make me feel better, but I know who I am, and one day I'll be able to get there, and, my body will match the way I feel.
I think another issue is the government wanting to ban gender-affirming care altogether, which they think, is just HRT and puberty blockers and stuff like that. But it also applies to, toupees and breast implants.
I understand being worried about kids. Some parents are against it, but if the parents are saying that they think their child knows who they are and everything, I don't understand why the government, who does not know this child at all, gets the right to say, no, you can't do that. No. Your child can't get that care just because they're a child. There's plenty of things that we can't do, and we have to have our parents decide for us. And it's just like, our parents don't decide who we are. We can't just believe kids. I think it's big for parents to allow their kids to express themselves, and nothing permanent has to happen when they're young.
I really hope that people stop being ignorant so that the young people can, grow and be old people. I mean, you don't see a lot of transgender elderly, and that's mainly because a lot of them are closeted still or are gone due to really unfortunate circumstances.
I hope that gender-affirming care gets more accessible. It does help mentally so much immediately. The very first day on testosterone, I was just so happy, even though nothing had happened yet, just because I felt like I didn't have to worry about anything anymore.
I just hope people one day realize that, we're not bothering anybody. We're living our lives as any human being. We are human beings. And, okay, we're a little different than some people are used to. Just because we're a certain kind of different, people want to be a certain type of way towards us, and it just sucks. And I will continue to voice how I feel and stand up for myself and people like me.
My name is Ziggy, my pronouns are she, they, and something I would tell younger LGBTQ plus people, don't let others tell you who to be.
I'm V, and my pronouns are they, them. I would like to other people, like other young people, to know that you won't always be alone when you're trying to find yourself, even if it feels like you will, especially when you're really little and you don't have any friends, like I did.
My name is Kaden. My pronouns are he, him. And some things I want to tell the next generation of queer people is everybody is different in their own way, and there's nothing wrong with being another kind of different from everybody else. And it's okay to take time to find yourself. It can be very stressful, but it's worth it, and it's for you, and finding yourself isn't for anybody else. Normal isn't really a real thing. You know, there's what people would consider normal, but it's not actually a real thing. And I want them to know that nobody's actually normal, and there's nothing wrong with not feeling normal because it's not a real thing.
My name is Carl, and I go by he, they. You're not alone. If you need somebody to talk to, I'm there. And also, it's not a big deal if you're wrong about your labels or anything.
I'm Bonnie. I go by any pronoun. There are plenty of people willing to fight for you. Finding yourself doesn't need to be rushed. You can take as much time as you need to figure out what you think you are.
My name is Oliver. My pronouns are he, him. And being trans and or gay should be normal, and it's encouraged, and it should be celebrated because people think it's unfortunate, but it's a good thing.
My name's Austin, my pronouns are they, them, and you can't change others so they support you, but you don't have to let them change you either. Finding yourself takes time and isn't easy. You don't have to hide yourself to make others happy, and you will find people who will respect you for being yourself.
I'm Red. I use its pronouns. And your body does not decide your gender, you do. Your body and your mind never have to match.
My name's Kai. I go by she, her. And something I want to tell the future generation and the people who come after me is that it's going to be hard. It's going to hurt. You're probably going to cry a lot. But you need to stay strong for the people who come after you and the people who are also suffering and need help too. And you need to keep trying to fight for people like you and yourself.
My name is Ember. My pronouns are any, and I want the future generations to know your happiness is more important than what society wants you to be.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Leah Lubinsky.
I'm Kaden Corrigan.
And I'm Oliver Leger, and you've been listening to
I'm Feeling Queer Today. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and share the show with your friends, family, or even your dog. A 5-star rating goes a long way to support us in making more episodes of the podcast.
If you're new here, welcome to the party. Make sure you go back and check out the rest of the episodes from this season. We met queer youth all over the country, including our neighbors just a few hours away in Columbus. You can listen to all 9 episodes of Season 3 wherever you get your podcast. Part 2 of this episode is out next week, so stay tuned.
We want to hear from you. That's why we set up our own online voicemail box for you, our listeners, to leave us a message. Go to speakpipe.com/IFQT and drop us a line. That's speakpipe.com/IFQT. Let us know what you think of the podcast, any topics you want us to cover on the pod, and don't forget to ask yourself, how am I feeling queer today?
For more information and resources about this episode, check out the show notes in the description or check out the episode page at thefutureperfectproject.org/podcast.
If you or a young person you know between the ages of 13 and 24 is currently in crisis, visit thetrevorproject.org for LGBTQIA+ specific support through text and chat, or call 1-866-488-7386. These resources will be in the show notes too.
To learn more about the Future Perfect Project, head to our website, thefutureperfectproject.org, and find us on social media at The Future Perfect Project.
Thank you to all our wonderful contributors: Henry, Bonnie, Ziggy, Carl, Kai, Ember, Austin, Red, V, my co-host Oliver, Caden, our superintendent Kristen Thomas, and our principal Annie Forsyth, and me, Leo.
This was recorded in Columbus, Ohio, and produced by Celeste Lassine, Trudy Poux, and Emma Jane Sislowski.
IFQT is produced by the Future Perfect Project with support from Radio Kingston, WKNY, Kingston, New York, and our I'm Feeling Queer Today podcast cohort, Alex Massey, Parker McKenzie, Samuel Smalls, Lily Muller, Eric Eubank, and Zorian Edwards.
Our theme song is performed and composed by Alex Massey and produced by Emma Jane Sislowski. Additional music from Epidemic Sound. And mandolin performance by Red. Episode editing, mixing, and mastering by Emma Jane Sislowski. This episode was hosted by me, Leo.
Me, Caden.
And me, Oliver. Special thanks to executive producer and mentor Celeste Lassine, as well as Future Perfect Project team members Ryan Amador, Kiko Wan, and Aaliyah Jamil.